Alright, what's going on, guys? Your boy Tony Shen. I'm back at it like a crack addict, back with another FL Studio stock plugin tutorial. If you're new to this channel, this is basically a series on make beats only using FL Studio stock plugins and other easily accessible sounds, just so it's easier for everyone, especially beginners, just to follow along step by step. I know I've only kind of been doing stuff in this series, and I know a lot of my subscribers do come back just for the series specifically, so it's definitely something I want to focus more on, but I also want to expand, so I have other original content coming out, but it's just been very hard with time and everything, so I'm gonna try to post more consistently on this channel. But you know I'm always gonna stick with the series. So today we're gonna make a Guapdad 4000 type beat. We're going to the West Coast. We're gonna go for that vibey R&B singing, but also that just signature West Coast type sound. That's something you're into. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. So let's just jump right into the melodies first. So I know I like to do everything step by step, but I kind of picked the sounds already, and I'll just show you where I got these sounds. But first, let's just think about the tempo, right? So with the West Coast, I like to stick around between like 90 to like 108, just because it's gonna be a little bit like, that's where you get the bounce of it, right? So we're gonna stick with like 96. Here's what like the BPM sounds like. And just for sound selection, I'll kind of go through everything that I picked and tell you where you got it. So first, we want to start with like a Rhodes piano thing, because I feel like that's always like a solid, like if you're working with a West Coast artist, like I feel like a Rhodes like chill electric piano type keys type sound like is always gonna work pretty well, just because like it matches the vibe pretty well. We're gonna go into flex, so just find flex here, and then go into the essential pianos installed pack, and then go to Rhodes MKIII. That's the preset I'm using. Here's what it sounds like. Just that very vibey type feeling, right? So let's just start with our chords. Kind of just start with maybe like, let's just start with our chords, right? Let's just start layering the melody. So feeling like an E, like E minor chord. And that here. Yep. Let's add another note here. Another note here. So we're in the key of A minor. Let's pitch it up an octave. Command up or control up if you're on Windows, which I'm assuming most of you guys are. So control up. Repeat that. It sounds cool, but I think it just sounds a little bit boring just because it sounds like you programmed it. It sounds very robotic. So let's just offset the timing. So Option S, strum that, and then that just sounds a lot more interesting. So to kind of offset the timing, so just Option S if you're on Mac, or Alt S if you're on Windows, and then just drag the length of this, and let's hear it now. Yeah. And then let's also randomize the velocity of this as well, just because we don't want all the notes to hit at the same velocity. So Alt R if you're on Windows, Option R if you're on Mac, and then just drag this knob, and that'll kind of randomize the velocity, just make it sound more human. So now that we have our keys, which is like our, you know, your first layer, let's go into like our lead melodies just to add in whenever there's like a more energetic part of the song, right? So let's go to Citrus, which is the plugin that I've chosen already. Just should be like here, right? Citrus. And then the sound that we're gonna use, the preset, it's under synth string. I believe it's the feedback saw. Yeah, so it's just like kind of like a saw, like classic West Coast. When you think of classic West Coast, you think of like, you know, that like synthy, like analog-y type sounding saw. So So just that, you know, like when you think of like West Coast music, dun, 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 that vibey, you know. And what you can do is extend the notes slightly so that it kind of glides from one note to the other, right? So yeah, and we can copy that and then just, you know, kind of change it, the variation a bit. And for those of you thinking like, what about the space here? I purposely left this empty because I want to kind of use another sound, right? So what we're gonna do here is this technique that I kind of derived from classical music, but it's the idea of a call and response, right? Where like in classical music, you might have like a French horn, you know, do one melody line, and then like a clarinet respond to the other, right? So it's kind of like that back and forth call and respond. So with this space here, I'm gonna fill it up with a different synth. And for this synth, we're going back to Citrus, going to presets. Oh, whoops. It's called the blown bottle preset. It's in the wind section. So that's gonna be like the section. It's kind of a good contrast with like the harsher saw synth versus like the more like, you know, wavy, like softer blown bottle type synth. So like, okay, so we have this melody and then it kind of just sounds like imbalanced, right? So let's just bring this in a mixer. Let's do some leveling and then add some effects. So let's just select all this, highlight, and then go here. Control Shift L if you're on Windows, Command Shift L if you're on Mac. Let's go here. Let's just turn the levels down a little bit. Right now it's kind of coming in too hot. Yeah, let's just EQ a little bit, cut out some of the lows because as you can see, there's like a little bit of low activity here. And if you're making beats on like laptop speakers, you might not hear that. But like, say you take this to the club with like the big bassy speakers, like if you don't cut that out, you're just gonna hear like weird frequencies, and it's gonna be like, okay, what is going on, right? So it's always good to cut out the frequencies that you don't really need in case it's low bass melodies, and then maybe cut out some of the highs too because we want to save some space for our saws and stuff like that and our leads. Turn this down. And with the saw, again, this is super loud. Like, I think the thing with FL Studio stock plugins is that they always like just set like the gain to be super loud, which I'm not exactly like against. It's just like, damn, like when it's unexpected, you know, it just sounds crazy. And with this, I kind of want to cut out some of the high ends because it does sound a little bit harsh. So I do want to filter out some of the higher ends. And you hear how it kind of just ends? I want to give it a little bit of like a tail and something to just like make it so that it just doesn't just end abruptly like that. So a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb could help with that. So let's go to Fruity Delay 3 or 2. If you have 2, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter which Fruity Delay you use, as long as you just have some type of delay. So in this case, it's set to like, I think 4. I want to kind of like a triplet delay. So, yeah, and the output, this is the wet knob. Turn that down a little bit. That's the feedback knob, so just turn that. That's like how much of it kind of goes back. So if it's too much, then it's gonna be like really crazy. So yeah, and then a little bit of reverb just to give it that space. And also turn that down a lot. And you want that almost to be a little softer than the Rhodes. because it is a higher frequency, so it's automatically just gonna cut through the speakers more and it's gonna be more audible. So it's okay if you turn it down a little bit. Now let's go back to the blown bottle. For this, I kind of like the way it sounds already. It sounds very ambient and like, just cut out the bass and then some of the treble maybe, just so it's not too harsh and doesn't interfere with the vocals. And then just turn this down. Nice. Now that we have our kind of like our mid layer and you have your high layer with your saw and your blown bottle synth, now let's work on our bass. For this, I found another Citrus plugin. Citrus has a lot of presets that are very usable for beats. So I think this is the Digi bass. Here's what it sounds like. Kind of got that West Coast kind of like funky, bouncy type feel, right? So boom. Let's turn on the metronome just to get an idea of the bounce, and then boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Now let's pitch this back down an octave just to hear what it sounds like. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with this range of bass, but let's just hear what it sounds like an octave down. Pop quiz. How do you pitch your notes an octave down? The answer is control down or command down if you're on Mac. Oh yeah, it sounds better an octave down for sure. It just sounds very loud. So it's link this in a mixer. So select that track, go to mixer, control L or command L if you're on Mac. And let's turn down the input gain a little bit. So this gain right here. Let's open up an EQ just to see like the spectrum and like the frequencies. So with this, obviously you want the bass, right? But you want to cut the low bass because that's just a very undesirable frequency. So this is a pretty like, this is a bass that you can kind of hear throughout your speakers. It's not one of those like feely like sub bassy type basses. Like you can obviously hear this, but we do want to like boost it a little bit more. Just want to give it a little bit more presence, right? So if you add a little distortion, it's going to add some higher frequencies to make it a little bit more audible. So add some fast distort and then turn down the mix a little bit. Here's what it without it. As you can tell, it gives us a little bit more presence when you just listen to it on like laptop speakers and stuff like that. So that's pretty good if like you want your bass to be a little bit more audible. And let's turn it down just a little bit. So now we got our melodies, and as you can tell, even without the drums, it already has that kind of bounce already, right? So now let's go into the percussion. With the drums, like I said earlier in the introduction, all of the sounds that I'm using are very easily accessible and free for you guys. I'm using sounds from Tony Shen Slap Packs Volume 1 through 3. So these are all the drum kits that I give out for free pretty much for all my subscribers. So all you have to do is click the link in the description below and you'll be able to access all these links. So I'm going to pull up a clap from like Slap Pack Volume 3. I like the hearts clap. It's got that West Coast feel, right? So just give it that. Let's pull up a hi-hat. I like this hat. Just find a little bounce, you know. Add a little open hat. Is that a snare? I think we could turn the snare a little, pitch it up a little bit more. Yeah, sounds more of that like traditional 808 type snare. Last but not least, let's add a kick. Let's go to volume 1. Let's just stick with volume 3. So let's go to kick. It's a pretty good kick. Kick. Yes, sir. I'm kind of just following the mix the drums now. I think that's like all we pretty much need, like all the sounds that we really need to make like a solid like Guapdad 4000 West Coast type beat. So let's just move all of these into the mixer and just do a little bit of leveling, because I think the hi-hats are a little loud right now. The open hat and maybe the snare too. That's more like it. So now I think like all the sounds are pretty well balanced. You got your vibe going, you got everything. All you have to do is arrange it. So just go to pattern 1, split by channel. That splits everything. You can delete that real quick if you have FL Studio 20, and then just highlight this and then move that here. And then now you have all your patterns on the different tracks, and then let's just arrange it, you know. Start with the rows maybe. And then these are the leads, so it's gonna come in maybe a little later. Start with like this, you know. Okay, so as you can tell, I made it really quick. I arranged it really quickly. I just don't want to like spend too much time on it, just because like every artist is different in the way they want to arrange things and things, and I feel like that's like something you kind of just really easy to figure out on your own. So I feel like once we get the melody and the pattern and stuff like that, you have pretty much the beat already. You just have to like arrange it however. So with that being said, I'm gonna preview the beat for you guys. It's pretty complete. So yeah, with that being said, we're pretty complete with the beat. I'm pretty satisfied with the arrangement, all the sounds and everything. But before I get to that, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching all the way through, and I'm gonna preview the beat for you guys. So thank you guys so much. Here's what it sounds like.